morning. So this is right now 4 o'clock on April 8th, 2020. Ready to kick things off, going into Easter weekend. So I wanted to first address. It was funny. I had a conversation with one of you that was like, "Oh, I didn't even know it was Easter this weekend." So the point is that we're so caught up in what's happening in the day to day that we almost like are not looking at the week to week or the month to month or what's in front of us. So it's kind of interesting how some of the hallmark holidays are almost becoming less meaningful. Birthdays, weddings, anniversaries during this. It's quite interesting. So we got to do our best effort to keep those traditions meaningful if we want to. I want to kick off this session by just helping us make sure that we are approaching tonight the right way. And what I mean by the right way is that we want to create appointments. That's what we're here to do. We're here to create appointments. We're not just here to create appointments. We're here to complete appointments that we book. So one of the things that we've been hammering home is our urgency phrase, our firm up phrase. And so I'm going to screen share right now, and I want to make sure that we're on the same page with some of this stuff. But I also wanted to make sure that we are doing some simple fundamentals that are getting really good results. We have this Facebook approach that some of y'all are doing that's creating really good results, that's getting some traction. I'd like to have Rochelle, and kind of put her on the spot, but she's been getting post after post after post. I know a couple of you are getting some traction. If you're getting some traction, let's talk about it. But check this out. On this handout right here, it says the Facebook post. Who can help out? This post with a picture of you, it's free advertising. Why would you not use it? But here's the one that I'm not getting traction on or at least hearing about, which is the Facebook direct message, okay? This is one of those ninja moves that I was telling Sophia about. Sophia's sick with strep throat. She's like, I don't know if I could talk. You don't need to talk. You don't need to talk. All you need is Facebook. You take this right here and you paste this into a message into Facebook. Watch. So I'll go to Facebook right now, okay? So don't be creeping on what's happening in my world. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So let's say I go to let's go to my brother Robert. Okay, I go to my brother Robert Kramer. Okay. And he's a Mac, So I go to my brother, and then I click on his friends. And then I can go to any of these people. It doesn't even matter. I could click on my wife, my sister-in-law. I click on my wife, right? So I could find people that look like a Mac customer. So maybe high school. High school would probably be good because then, maybe not. That's probably not good. Current city, that would probably be good. People that live in a city where he lives. Boom. That looks like a Mac. Awesome. I'm going to add that as a friend, and I'm going to click message. I'm going to copy and paste that message, boom, and I'm going to send it to Lisa. And then I'm going to go over here to Michelle. That probably looks like Matt. I'm going to go to Michelle. I'm going to click message. I'm going to add her as a friend, and I'm also going to, boom, send her a message too. And I could go through and send 50 messages a day doing that on Facebook. Now, I don't know what my response rate is going to be. I don't know how many appointments I'm going to book, but here's what I do know. Whoever's talking, stop messing up my stuff. All right. So here's what I do know is I'm probably going to get some responses at some point. If I just send 50 of those a day, it's free. It's simple advertising. Simple advertising. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And I'm just sending them to people that I think are Mac customers. So number one, you want to have a Facebook profile that with a picture and a group and a cover photo. Number two, you probably want to have your occupation saying, that you're working here, so it looks legit. And number three, you want to start adding friends and being friends with your relatives and being friends with Mac customers so that you can have more mutual friends with your Mac customers. Let me come in for some air and see what shows up for you. What shows up for any of you? Rochelle, what's working for you? I know, Audrey, you've had some success with this. I know, Caitlin, I know you've had some success with Facebook. What's showing up? Let's talk real fast.
For me personally, it's definitely just making it a point to ask them and being like, once you get into good rapport with them, and you can do it with anybody, not necessarily just the people that you're doing demos with, but I didn't do demos with half my family yet. So I've been kind of like going through my family Facebook pages and then direct messaging them as well and just asking them. But the biggest thing is just asking them, like, even if you go through your demo and you forget and like you only get Rex or whatever it may be, then going back and like messaging them after or getting them on the phone after and just making it a point to really just ask them.
Simple. So just ask some people. You know, I mean, it's almost like an assume the sale type of question. It's like, would it be cool if I sent you, introduce myself to some of your friends on Facebook, sending them a message? Would that be cool?
Another really good thing that I started doing is when I like met and messaging them, asking it of them, I send the Facebook post with the picture, which is kind of assumptive as well, but it's also like, this is what you'd be posting. So that way they can have something to make a logical decision on.
Simple. And you've seen these girls blowing up the chat doing this. Excellent. Who else has had maybe a success with this that they can share using Facebook to your advantage? You could go ahead and just start talking.
For me, I just reached out to anyone who I hadn't asked before, or people that I asked and then they just never put it back up. So, I mean, it's just as simple as Rochelle made it sound. Like, you send them the message, send them the picture of you and say, hey, all you do is copy and paste and tag me. This is a super easy way for me to continue to grow my business, especially during these hard times. Sometimes if I'm over the phone, I also name drop like, hey, your friend did this for me. It's really helped me out. Some of my biggest orders have come through Facebook. I've gotten a $2,500 order just from Facebook alone. So I name drop, say stuff like that. And that also is like, oh, okay, I want to help you out in your business.
This is literally your target audience. Your target audience is on Facebook. Audrey's chilling at the beach with her makeup on and, looking all, pretty for the beach, I guess, today, No, Audrey's had
Passover
dinner, Passover Seder tonight.
Yes, sir.
Who else has something to share on this? Who else could share something? Caitlin, you want to share something before I transition?
Sure. So during the summer kickoff, when we were talking about Facebook posts, I reached out to all of my Mac customers before I knew the power of Facebook. And I just asked them, hey, would you mind just copying and posting a simple Facebook post for me? Like Audrey and Rochelle said, it's super easy. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, yeah, sure, what's the harm? And I also leverage, because I asked Mike, so do the people that I get from the Facebook post count as recommendations too? And I also leverage that to the customers. I'm like, during a presentation, oh, so thank you so much for these 10 or something recommendations. However, if you do post this Facebook post, I can use the people that like or comment on it as recommendations as well. And that also counts towards my sponsorship. So that helps a lot as well.
Sure. Yeah, why not? I'll count that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So using that to leverage your sponsorship too, to get more recommendations. So here's where I'm at. I think every single one of you, as soon as we finish this conversation, needs to go on Facebook and send a direct message saying, hey, would you mind putting a status up on Facebook for me? It would really be helpful, right? Something like that. Well, we could start there. Then do your phone calls. Then, or, hey, do you think you could put the status up for me? Then go send some direct messages on Facebook. Right? Go send some direct messages to Mac customers asking for appointments to people you don't have phone numbers for. Take 30 minutes. Can you take 30 minutes to just do social media advertising for customers? Then hit the phones for an hour. Boom, hit the phones for an hour. And then we go to session 2 at 6 p.m. Then we'll get reacclimated, see where we're at. Then boom, we'll go to, session 2 when we do our next round of jamming. And then hopefully you got some responses. I don't know what shows up for you. I mean, is this a pretty simple strategy that we think could work? I don't know. A couple of y'all are giggling. I don't know I got a boogie or something. What? I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely want to do this. I did this over the weekend for that region conference, and I got several people to post up for me. So it's super, super easy. Just take 30 minutes to do it.
30 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to transition into that. Now, I think we should stay on Zoom to do this. So it's a little bit of accountability. So that way, if any of you guys have questions, I'm here to support you, and I'll hang out for a little bit and we can support each other, at least for the social media. As soon as you send your messages, I think a little bit of accountability to where you could send a screenshot to the WhatsApp group. It's like, look, I sent my messages, or look, I asked these people to put a status up for me. That way we can create some social accountability and support with this. We want to make a movement here. I'll be straight up, ready? Straight up with all of you. Okay. As a staff, we looked at our results last week and it was subpar. Our sales were subpar. But it's not because of our sales. It's because how many appointments we've completed. We set up 160 plus appointments on Wednesday night. And if you had a guess at how many of those got completed, throw a number in the chat. How many do you think got completed last week? Out of 168 that got set up. 168. I know by the tone of my voice, you're like, I don't know. It's probably not that many. Yeah, you guys are spot on. It was actually 43 appointments completed. Yeah, out of 168. So that means you guys did all this work to book up appointments for what? A raffle ticket for a cheese knife? The point of doing all this work on Wednesday nights is not for the raffle ticket. It's not just to get it on the queue. It's to actually book up the appointment, to complete the appointment, to provide a service to a client, be the highlight of their day, help them sign up for an awesome package, and then make money so you can pay your way through college. Like, know why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you firming it up? So that way they don't forget. No, you're firming it up so that way they are excited to remember, right? Not to avoid the pain, but to create the pleasure. So just something to think about, right? Book up your appointments with intentionality. And I'll leave you with this before we go into activity. I had a conversation with one of you and I said, if you knew that you hit your demo goal this week, $1 million falls from the ceiling and you get $1 million if you hit your demo goal. You say you're going to hit 8 and you actually hit 8 and you win $1 million. Would you find a way? If you got to 6, would you say that's good enough? No, you'd find a way to get to 8, right? With that being said, if you miss the 8, there's a gun to your head and there's a gun to your mom's head. And if you miss the 8, one of the 2 triggers get pulled. Now, this is a very gross example of goal setting, but how passionate are you about hitting the goals that you set? Pain if you don't, and pleasure if you do. But you want to instill both of those into your life, because without the pain and without the pleasure, you're going to stay stagnant. And you ever look at stagnant water? It's murky and green and gross and festering with bacteria. That's what happens if you stay stagnant. So pain if you don't, and pleasure if you do. Instill that on yourself. Self-imposed goals is what creates leaders. If you need someone to create your goals for you, that's called a boss, and go work somewhere else or in a different industry. I don't want to be your boss. I want to be your coach and your mentor and a caring adult that supports you on this mission and on this journey that we're on. It's not about selling knives, although we do want to sell a lot of knives. It's about hitting your goals that you set and having integrity and saying this is meaningful and this is important. Did you realize that there are a lot of people that wish they had a job right now and they don't? So take advantage of yours in a positive way. Let's work hard. Let's be people of possibility and people in integrity. So hit the goals that you set for yourself. So I'm going to stop talking. Okay. I'm going to put us into activity. I'm going to stay on here for another 10 minutes to help with this social media. Here's the action steps I'd like for you to do. Number 1, I'd like for you to target people, make a list right now. So I'll stop recording in a moment. Make a list right now. Here's action step 1. Who can you ask to put a Facebook status up for you? Who can you ask? Make a list right now. Who can you ask to put a Facebook status up for you? Can you pick out 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 people? All of you, every one of you. Amanda, Rochelle, Thomas, every one of you. Let's make a list. 4, 3, 4, 5 people. Who could put a status up on Facebook for you that you haven't asked yet? Maybe it's 2 or 3. Maybe it's 5 or 6. That's number 1. Those same people. Number 2, okay? Whose friends can you start messaging that are Macs that you could introduce yourself to? Who do you have on Facebook that is a Mac that you could message their friends on Facebook? Like I showed you my brother, my dad. Maybe it's an aunt. Maybe it's a best friend's mom. That you could message their friends. And of course, you just want to reach out to your and be like, hey, Auntie, I just got an approach where I could, introduce myself on Facebook to some of your friends. Is that cool if I send a couple of them a message? Just give a heads up, like an assumptive question. Who are those people you can do that and target their friends? And then number 3 would be, you ask them to put the Facebook post, and then I guess that's really it. That takes care of itself, because then it puts you into motion, which is just send them. Make sure you edit the Facebook post, edit the message so it makes sense to you, right? Make sure it makes sense to you, so you're not sending messages as Jessica or Amanda, which, make sure you adjust the template. And then have a good photo ready to go. A good photo. Find a good photo that you want them to share on their timeline too. You got to have the photo. You'll get way better results with the photo. Are there any questions on this, on these simple action steps that we can take? Never do I want to hear again, Mike, I'm running out of people to call, if you're not doing these simple activities that, along with making phone calls, along with asking friends for phone numbers, along with getting recommendations. Never do I want to hear you say, oh, I've called everyone and I'm not getting my appointment, my schedule booked. Sorry, Mike, I know he said we had 160, but I only completed 40 as a team because, I ran out of people. If we're not doing the things that produce results, don't come up with excuses on why you're not getting them, right? Let's put in the work. All right, so I'm going to stop recording. Let's go into action. Any questions?